私はフレーザーストリートにあるバタードブーランジェリーに来ています。こちらのヒストリックビルディングに入っているこのバタードブーランジェリーはなんとバンクーバーで一番最初にアーティザンベーカリーを始めたパン職人の方がパンを作っているとっても最高の美味しいパン屋さんなんですよ。行ってみます。こちらにあるバタードレベインとこちらのマーケットローフ、この2つのためだけに私リッチモンドからはるばる買いに来たりするんですけども、何が美味しいかっていうと、まずはこのバタードレベインはフレンチスタイルのサワードーンなんですね。サワードーンの中ではもうちょっと軽くて酸っぱみが軽いんです。だからいろんなサンドイッチとかベイクトグッズに合うんですね。でこちらのマーケットローフはすごい注意で、外側と中側のこう柔らかさとこう噛み応えがたまらないんです。この謎に迫ってみたいと思います。
I was a chef for many years, working in French and Italian restaurants, and I always liked to make my own bread. So I started doing research on artisan baking in Europe, and I decided that I wanted to try making it here. So I baked at home at first, and I made a few breads here and a few breads there, and then people started telling me how good they were, so that I finally started. I decided I wanted to find a place where I could actually make my bread and sell it. So the levain is actually a French-style sourdough. So we have an old sourdough culture, many years old, that we use to make our bread, and we let it rise very slowly, maybe 2 days or sometimes 3 days, until it's. So that's where the complexity and the flavor comes. And the other one, the market loaf, that's actually made with like a baker's yeast, but we use tiny amount of yeast. We use to make say 40 loaves of bread. We use the same amount of yeast as one person would use at home to make 1 loaf of bread. So we use a tiny amount, and then we let it rise very slowly, and that's what gives all the flavor. And sometimes we use a lot more water in them, which makes them very hard to work with. So some bakeries maybe they don't like to use that technique too much because it's more difficult for the bakers to work with sometimes, but it gives a lot better flavor and texture. We have a stone hearth oven we bake these breads in. So you put them on the stone, the thick stone at very high temperature, and then you put steam on there, and that's what gives the good crust and the good flavor. Yeah.
こちらはパンの種類がたくさんあって、どれを買おうかなって迷っちゃうかと思うんですけど、なんととってもいいシステムがあるんです。それはですね、パンを1枚から買えるんですよ。スライスで売ってくれるので、好きなものを1枚ずつっていう風に買うこともできます。なのでいろんな種類を一度に試すこともできて、とってもお得なんです。
So that's very European style, almost like when you go to like a delicatessen where you can buy meat or whatever by the slice.
Yes.
In Europe, they weigh your bread, so they have a scale, and you buy a half, a quarter, you buy a slice, and they just charge you that way. You know, often people, maybe there's only 1 or 2 people, or they don't all eat the bread, so they don't want to waste it, so they just buy 1 or 2 slices. Or if they're having a party, maybe they have 2, 3 slices of one, 2, 3 slices of another one.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
こちらのペーストリーに使われているバターというのはとっても変わっていて、ローカルではなくてヨーロッパや世界中からとってもいい良質の無塩バターを取り寄せているんです。それなので全部とってもフラッフィーで美味しく出来上がるんだそうですよ。
We only use unsalted butter here. Most people at home use salted butter, but we use unsalted. And then a lot of the butter we have, we bring in from either from Europe or from New Zealand, because in Canada we cannot get commercial butter that is high butter fat. That's what makes it so good. Yes. So that's what we make our croissants with, which are famous in the city now. You have to have high butter fat, otherwise the water content does not give a good product. So of course when you're eating it on your toast, it's so delicious. Yes.